Hello, I'm Mark Schechter with Ideal Luxury, where we buy, sell, trade, and make loans on fine watches, diamonds, and jewelry. Welcome to Question Mark, where I answer popular questions about these luxury items. Today we'll be discussing the Rolex 18 karat rose gold and stainless steel root beer GMT Master 2, reference 126711. Now, the GMT has always, let's say, stayed in the shadow of the Submariner and the Daytona, but those that have tracked it closely know that it's a popular watch and it's actually done a great job holding its value and appreciating nicely over time. It's also got a wonderful function in that it does track time in two different time zones. Originally created for the Pan Am pilots in the mid-1950s, that allowed them to keep track of time in a reference time as well as their local time, and it's done the same thing ever since. Now, most people think of the GMT, or especially a vintage GMT, and they think of maybe a Pepsi 1675 reference. But in the early 70s, Rolex rolled out a two-tone version of their GMT Master watch with the Jubilee bracelet, stainless steel and yellow gold, and it had a bicolored, let's call it honey and chocolate insert bezel, and a chocolate famous nipple dial. We'll put a picture up on the screen so you can take a closer look. But this was rolled out, a Rolex sport watch with a brown dial. You gotta be kidding me. It was also known as the Clint Eastwood root beer. He was fond of the watch. The watch quickly grew on folks as something different. It had a great look and it's remained popular to this day. Fast forward to current day, in Basel World 2018, Rolex rolled out some new versions of their GMT Master 2 with bicolored bezels. You may recall when the GMT Master 2 first came out in ceramic, it was all black. Bit of an underperformer. It lost its identity with no bicolor bezel. The bicolor bezel came out with the Batman, which is still a hot watch to this day. And now in this year, they rolled out a steel version of the Pepsi with the Jubilee bracelet, and they also rolled out a root beer version in both all gold and stainless two-tone and 18 karat rose gold. That's the watch we'll take a closer look at, but it's the first time that Rolex has put a black and brown bicolored ceramic bezel on a watch. You say black and brown, wait till you see the combination. They actually pulled it off. It looks actually quite stunning. It's also the first time that Rolex has done a two-tone GMT in rose gold instead of yellow gold, is how they've traditionally done it. The watch is incredibly popular. I've heard as long as 2 to 3 year waiting list at your authorized dealer, unless you can find one through an independent like Ideal Luxury. Let's take a closer look as to why this watch is so popular.
All right, let's take a closer look at this gorgeous Rolex 40 millimeter two-tone root beer GMT Master 2, reference 126711. 18 karat rose gold and stainless steel two-tone sport watch, 904 stainless steel, very, very hard and scratch resistant, but can be polished to a high sheen. It's got my fingerprints on it already. This is a modern era Rolex, so right off the bat you'll notice maxi case with the larger lugs, maxi dial with the larger dots. This is still 40 millimeters across, but this is a GMT. It is a root beer GMT with that brown black bi-directional rotating ceramic bezel. The bezel's ceramic. The bezel's 18 karat rose gold. The insert is actually a ceramic bezel, and then those numbers are done in rose gold. See if we can get a better look at that. Actually, a really neat process how they do that. It's either yellow gold or rose gold, or they do it in platinum for the white numbers on, like, let's say the Batman or the Pepsi version. But this bezel is actually for setting your reference time or your home time when you're traveling. We'll talk about that here in just a second. It is engraved inner bezel because it's a modern Rolex. If I was looking at 12 o'clock, you'd see the serial number, but we'll save that for our customer. And then if you look at the dial, again, maxi dial with the larger dots. This is a black dial. The GMT Master 2 is actually written in rose gold, and then it's got blue lume, which we'll include a photo of here on the screen as well. This is an in-house Rolex 3285 movement. with a 70-hour power reserve. Beautiful movement behind that back case. In terms of functionality, this is a traveler's watch. You can keep track of time in 2 different time zones. So we have your hour hand, minute hand, the second hand. We'll get that moving. It's not an accurate way to run a watch, but it'll get that center second hand moving. Then you'll see they've got the GMT hand with the arrow. The arrow-tipped GMT hand is for your home time or reference time, and you would rotate the bezel to the time of day to set that reference time or home time. And then that hour hand, now with the modern GMT Master 2, that's an independent hand. It can jump either direction to set your local time. Let's say you're traveling Newport Beach, but Paris is home. You can keep track of time in both time zones. And the date aperture at 3 o'clock will keep track of the date based on the center hour hand. GMT hour hand rotates once in 24 hours. Center hour hand rotates twice in 24 hours. That's your standard GMT functionality. Oyster bracelet. Oyster lock, because it's a sport watch. Flip lock. Oyster lock clasp. It's got the 5mm easy link. I like to call it skinny day, fat day. Little 5mm adjustment. The watch is water resistant to 100 meters or 330 feet. Current retail is just over $14,000, $14,050, but they're bringing anywhere $3 grand over market. There's about I've heard as long as a 3-year waiting list at dealers to get one. Beautiful GMT, 2-tone, rose gold, black chocolate, root beer, bezel GMT Master 2. If you haven't seen one, see if you can find one. And if not, Ideal Luxury would be happy to help you find one. Gorgeous watch.
That's all, folks. If you'd like your question answered or would like to learn more about buying, selling, trading, or getting a loan with Ideal Luxury, please visit our website or give us a call. Thanks for watching.